As the Embree-Meinders family approaches the one-year anniversary of their move to Burton, Kansas, Joni Embree-Meinders is just beginning to feel settled in as the farm family faces tumultuous times. Low commodity prices, trade wars, and torrential rain have plagued rural Kansas farmers for several months. A longer-term problem facing Embree-Meinders' hometown of Burton, Kansas, and many other small towns and farms across the country, is a dwindling population.
Let me ask my husband.
Upon their return, the Embree-Meinders family gained an up-close view of what population loss looked like in their community.
I don't get welcome home or welcome to Kansas or anything like that. What I get is, we're so glad you're here.
Metro population centers like Wichita witnessed growth of almost 15,000 residents between 2010 and 2018. In Harvey County, just outside of the Sunflower State's largest city, the population decreased almost 1.5%, losing nearly 500 people over the same time period. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, Burton, Kansas has lost 6% of its population since 2000. Population gains that rural areas do experience are often offset by an advancing mortality rate and general migration away from smaller communities.
What's going to happen to all these farmsteads? Because people aren't moving out here. They're moving into town or leaving and not coming back. You know, what's going to happen to all this out here?
The exodus of rural populations has hurt communities in many ways. With fewer people spending money in town, fewer tax dollars come into community coffers. Rural businesses are already experiencing a customer shortage, which ends up hurting the bottom line and the future of small towns. When a farmer's equipment breaks down, they count on making timely repairs to get back in the field as soon as possible. Near the town of Mount Hope, Kansas, Howard's Incorporated has been helping farmers get back to work quickly for almost a century.
We try to take care of the smaller farmers and the needs of a big farmer. We don't sell any big machinery. We sell a lot of small machinery, and we have about anything to fix anyone up.
Howard prides himself on having parts on hand for countless models of farm machinery. He notes in the current economic times, farmers are trying to do more with less by keeping older equipment in good working order instead of buying something new. But for Howard, the number of customers visiting his store is declining.
But so many of our farmers are retiring, and bigger farmers are taking them over, and we have less and less young farmers. I would love to find some young person with some ambition to buy it, because my wife and I started this business with nothing, and we've worked all our lives, and I hate to see it disappear, and it's going to be tough on the farmers when we do disappear. But I have no idea what the future holds.
According to data from the University of Kansas, the number of people living in Burton peaked in the 1980s at 976. The population has been in steady decline ever since, hitting 874 in 2017.
So Burton is not unique in the declining population. It's a statistic across the country, and so I don't see it different than a lot of other towns where you're trying to sustain businesses, trying to recruit businesses, trying to sustain housing and roads and infrastructure. You try to run that balance of what improvements can you make, what improvements should you make, and in what order should those take place, because your tax base is small. And
shortly after being sworn in, Governor Laura Kelly, a Democrat, created the Office of Rural Prosperity. The group's mission is to take a deep dive into rural Kansas issues to see where the most help is needed.
We put this office together so that everything that we do, whether it's policy or budget, is filtered through the lens of our rural community. And we'll be focusing on all the issues. Hospitals, one of them, but we'll also be looking at housing, education, telemedicine, and beyond.
There was a glimmer of hope for rural population growth in 2017. According to USDA data, an improved labor market, higher incomes, and an improving real estate market helped numerous counties stop a 6-year decline in population. However, an increase in retirements and migration to metro areas led to population growth only breaking even.
We really want to help local communities decide what is prosperity to them. Some, it might be opening a community center or a place for coffee. Others, it might be moving them on to the next step. You know, they've had a multiple year task of putting in housing and tourism and agribusiness. And so we want to work with local communities.
Lieutenant Governor Rogers will be leading a group from the Office of Rural Prosperity on a 12-city fact-finding journey across Kansas that begins in June and ends in late August. As for Joni and Zach, they have stopped working on the Young farm and have taken off-farm jobs. The couple hopes to set themselves up to eventually own their own operation. Until then, they continue to have their sights set on a future in farming that includes a pathway for their children.
And this, like Joni said before, it's really for the kids. So if that opportunity is what they want to be able to do, which Colby, that's his main focus. So if that's what they want to do, at least that opportunity is there for them when they get older.
From Market to Market, I'm John Torpy.